Welcome everyone to the press conference by Presidents Sharl Mishel and Ursula von der Leyen, following the phone call, or the video call I should say, with the other G7 leaders on the COVID-19 outbreak. After the intervention of both presidents, we'll take a couple of questions within the room, of course, but we know that a lot of news outlets are following this press conference directly and live, and so we'll take a couple of questions which I will get on my WhatsApp here, and so we'll do both, but I'll first give the floor to the European Council President.
Thank you for your presence. Let me start by expressing our full support to all health workers who are working day and night to fight this crisis. And let's be clear, we know that this crisis will be difficult, we know that it will take time, and we know that it will be very essential to be united. We had the occasion today to have a phone conference with the G7 countries under the leadership of the United States. It was the occasion to express a strong political will to address this crisis together, to coordinate, to cooperate in different fields. For us, the priority is the health of our citizens, and that's why we have last week encouraged the member states to work together in order to take some measures in order to contain the spread of the virus. This is the first priority. How is it possible to take concrete measures in order to contain the spread of the virus? The last days, with the Commission, with the member states, we have worked very hard in order to make some concrete proposals in order to develop a more European approach in order to make more progress in the next days, in the next weeks. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle nous avons, en coopération avec les États membres, travaillé sur des propositions afin de gérer la question des frontières intérieures et des frontières extérieures de l'Union européenne. Et la présidente de la Commission aura l'occasion de développer ce sujet extrêmement important. La philosophie à laquelle nous adhérons vise à la fois à réduire les mouvements qui ne sont pas des mouvements nécessaires et dans le même temps à garantir la circulation des marchandises, des biens, afin de veiller à ce que l'on puisse garantir autant qu'il est possible l'intégrité du marché intérieur, garantir les approvisionnements qui sont nécessaires. C'est un premier point de priorité, contenir la contamination autant qu'il est possible pour faire en sorte que nos systèmes de santé sur le plan des différents États membres aient la capacité de se préparer à ce qui nous attend dans les jours et dans les semaines qui viennent. A second essential point is the medical equipment, and it's important to continue what we are trying to do in order to guarantee the possibility for the member states to have access to the medical equipment. We are working on that with the member states, and we'll continue in the next days all the efforts in order to face this other important challenge. Third point, we have announced last week that we were working very hard in order to guarantee more support for the researchers in order to make more progress and to be able to develop a vaccine. It was also the occasion during this G7 call conference to decide to work more together in order to be able as soon as possible to make concrete progress, which is also very important. Et enfin, un quatrième point tout à fait essentiel que je souhaiterais mentionner aujourd'hui, c'est la mobilisation afin de réduire les impacts économiques autant qu'il est possible. Nous sommes totalement déterminés, la présidente de la Commission, le Conseil européen, les États membres, à faire tout ce qui sera nécessaire, tout ce qui sera indispensable afin de protéger les citoyens autant qu'il est possible, afin de défendre la position des entreprises, spécialement des petites et des moyennes entreprises, afin de faire en sorte que l'on puisse mobiliser des investissements afin de soutenir autant qu'il est possible l'activité économique et réduire autant qu'il est possible les dommages négatifs sur ce sujet. Il y a en ce moment par vidéoconférence une réunion des ministres ministres des Finances européens. Nous avons eu l'occasion de préparer cette réunion avec les différents États membres, avec le président de l'Eurogroupe, avec la présidente de la Commission et la présidente de la Banque centrale européenne aujourd'hui. Et le message que nous voulons adresser, c'est la mobilisation politique afin que nous puissions être déterminés à utiliser tous les instruments, et ils sont nombreux, tous les instruments dont nous disposons pour être à côté des citoyens, à côté des familles qui sont ou qui vont être affectées par les conséquences économiques, à côté des entreprises, qu'elles soient grandes, petites et moyennes. Et c'est aussi le sens de cette mobilisation dans le cadre du G7. Nous espérons aussi pouvoir étendre cette mobilisation à d'autres pays au travers du G20 et d'autres manières de coopérer sur le plan multilatéral. D'un mot, je conclus en disant que nous devons la vérité aux citoyens européens. Cette crise est sérieuse, elle va être longue, elle va être difficile, mais c'est la raison pour laquelle nous sommes convaincus qu'il faut être unis, être rassemblés, se serrer les coudes plus que jamais, faire aussi un appel à la discipline des citoyens. Chaque citoyen individuellement doit être amené à respecter les consignes qui sont données sur le plan international, national ou sur le plan local. Nous sommes tous acteurs responsables. On peut toutes et tous contribuer à faire en sorte que l'on puisse remporter cette bataille contre cette crise difficile que nous devons affronter si nous prenons la décision individuellement, personnellement, de s'inscrire dans une démarche de responsabilité collective. C'est aussi un signal important que nous voulons adresser aujourd'hui.
Thank you very much, Charles. Indeed, we face a global health crisis, and this global health crisis has a severe impact on people, but also has a severe impact on our economies. And today, indeed, in the G7 conference, we were sending a very strong message that by staying together, by working together and coordinating, we are able to weather this storm, which is a global storm without any question. Coordination is of the utmost importance. You mentioned it, and therefore we had indeed several topics we were working on. First of all, the fact that we will have to take measures to limit and to slow down the spread of the virus. This is important, that our healthcare system is able to deal with the amount of patients that are severely ill, and therefore it's of utmost importance to take all these measures member states are taking right now to slow down social contacts, to slow down public life, and therefore to slow down the spread of the virus. On the other hand, this poses a lot of question on how to maintain the rapid flow of goods and how to keep our economy agile and vital. And in this context, we informed today our G7 partners that we propose to introduce a temporary restriction on non-essential travel to the European Union. Why that? Because we think non-essential travel should be reduced right now too, in order to not to spread the virus further, be it within the European Union or by leaving the European Union, but also to avoid non-essential travels, not to have more potential strain on our healthcare system. Of course, there will be exemptions, for example, for EU citizens coming back home, for healthcare workers like doctors and nurses, but also scientists working on the solution of this health crisis we do see, but also people commuting on borders who are working on both sides of the borders, for example. There will be exemptions. It is a restriction that should be in place for an initial period of 30 days, and we have been talking about that with the G7 partners. Second topic, we must coordinate the measures we take to avoid negative impacts on our people, our economies, and our supply chains. This was a big topic and is a big topic between the member states. It is important to look at the different measures, how they are taken, and I think of utmost importance is that neighboring countries harmonize their measures so that this is the same strong message to the people that the member states are conveying, because here this increases then the certainty for people to know that it is, yes, difficult at the moment being, but it's for the best of their health, and for the moment this is necessary. Third, we need to restore global economic confidence. And indeed, it is time to support our economies with determination. That is what we are doing with all the appropriate instruments we have. We support the sectors that need it. We support our companies. We support the small and medium enterprises. And above all, we support people. We support them in their jobs. We support them with their income losses. So right now, the focus is on strengthening our economies and investing whatever is necessary to have the economy going on further. As I announced on Friday last week, the European Union has put in place an ambitious framework, and we will not hesitate to take further action as the situation evolves. Fourth and last point, indeed, we need to boost research on vaccines and therapies, also on diagnostics. It was interesting to hear in the G7 debate that there is a strong focus or strong support for CEPI, which is an initiative we started together. Although those members of G7, we started after Ebola, so it's coming from the lessons learned from Ebola, a platform of renowned scientists. This is also a message of strong coordination here to put a lot of emphasis on a promising project, on a platform that has already proven that it is very effective in this area. And finally, the international response should be broadened, and therefore we agreed today to also call upon G20 to accelerate work so that our response is as effective as possible globally. Thank you.
We'll first take a question of Politico. Yes, David. And then.
Thanks, Brent. David Herzenhorn with Politico. Presidents, we see today the guidelines from the Commission about internal border controls that are being imposed, concerns where you have to remind member states to allow EU citizens to travel home, that people who are sick should get health care, not be turned away at the border, that in fact goods and services must be able to cross. That has raised questions in some people's minds about whether the very core fundamentals, the four freedoms, the core purposes of the EU are in jeopardy because of this corona crisis. Are you concerned about the EU at that level of fundamentality?
I understand that the member states, the governments in the member states do everything they can to protect their people. But indeed, we have to be very careful to find the right balance between, on one hand, restricting the social contacts and therefore the virus to spread, but on the other hand, not to hamper our single market, because right now we need a very well-functioning single market to deliver on the goods we need. And therefore, we put out in our guidelines that we recommend to install so-called green corridors, fast lanes, for the good transport, so that the traffic jams will end and that we have a fast flow of goods. This is important for keeping up the single market and keeping up our economy.
Okay, next question, please.
Hello, Quentin Arias for the Washington Post. During your phone call, did you discuss with Mr. Trump on what's happening with the German company CureVac and on media reports about the US wanted to have exclusive access to this vaccine cure? Like I know Mrs. von der Leyen, you are discussing with executives of this company later on today. So I was wondering, like, did you talk with Mr. Trump about the issue and did he confirm it, like he wanted to have exclusive access?
We expressed a very strong political will. We considered that it is very important to work together in order to develop therapies, to develop vaccines. We mentioned a very concrete initiative, a very concrete proposal, and during this video conference we felt a very strong common political will in order to make progress together, also in this field.
Okay, I have a couple of remote questions. By Jennifer Rankin from The Guardian, ANSA, Patrizia Anzioni. A question for both President Michel and President von der Leyen. Has the travel ban already been approved by the member states, or should the European Council decide tomorrow, and will this apply to UK citizens?
We have worked together the last hours in order to inform the different member states that we were working together in order to take some measures regarding the borders. It was important, first of all, to inform officially the G7 countries, what we did during this phone call. We will have tomorrow a video conference with the 27 member states, and in the next hours we will continue to inform, to explain what the Commission is proposing, because, as you probably know, this proposal for the Commission has to be agreed by each member state. Each member state has the possibility to implement what the Commission will propose.
Yeah, we had indeed together a reach out over the weekend to the majority of member states, and there was a strong support. So officially tomorrow we're going to finalize that. And your question on the UK citizens, the UK citizens are European citizens, so of course there are no restrictions for the UK citizens to travel to the continent.
I have one last question from Jim Brunsden from the Financial Times for both presidents. Are you confident that member states will sign off on the ban on non-essential travel into the European Union? Because it seems like a couple of countries like Romania, Baltic states have been caught by surprise. Also, have the four Schengen associate countries agreed to this? A question from the Financial Times.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk beforehand, for example, to Norway and, for example, to Switzerland, and I'm aware of the fact that they already introduced measures that are very close to that. So for them, it was, first of all, very positive to see that there will be no changes for their citizens, but that they are included in this scheme we want to put up.
Thank you very much. Following the EU Co-Council tomorrow, we'll organize another press briefing.